Alrighty, everybody. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me here on June 6th here at 8 o'clock. My name is Savannah Louie here at the Atlanta News First Alert Desk. We've got your top 5 stories here for the Atlanta area. And I want to get straight out to a story that is developing right now as thousands of people all across Georgia are impacted by some inclement weather. I want to show you some of these power outages that we're looking at right here. All right, so take a look at your screen. More than 12,000 people are without power in Georgia after inclement weather moved through the state. This is all according to Georgia Power, and that's what you're looking at right now, this map from Georgia Power, which has a look at different areas that are impacted. So if you look at this map here, you can see most of the people without power are in the northern area, northern region of the metro. If we zoom in here, in particularly, we can see a good amount of people over in Brookhaven, as well as some folks over in Buckhead, along with the Druid Hills area as well. Now, a majority of people are impacted are in DeKalb County. So that is that Druid Hills area right here. If you take a look here, maybe we can zoom in. You see here where the red markings are, that represents more than 2,000 customers without power. So this area in particular, for example, we're seeing quite a few numbers there. Now, more than 9,000 people right now are without power in DeKalb County. And DeKalb is not the only county that has been impacted. We know that also folks in Cobb, in Fulton, in Floyd, Richmond, Burke, Cherokee, Columbia, Morgan counties, all also seeing some impacts as well. If you are one of those people who have been impacted by the weather, be sure to stay with Atlanta News First as we bring you all the latest updates. We are going to keep you up to date here on air when we hit Peachtree TV at 9 and 10, and also online at atlantanewsfirst.com, along with our Atlanta News First app. Really, however you are able to watch us right now, that's how we're going to have all the latest information for you coming up, including a look at some of the areas that may have faced any damages. I know right now we are currently looking at photos from different agencies in the metro Atlanta area who are sharing some of the things that they saw. We also heard about hail the size of peas in the Cobb County area. We even saw some of that over in Truist Park earlier. Again, this was just around 5:30 this afternoon, those storms rolling through the metro Atlanta area. So be sure to stay with us. We're going to bring you an update later this evening, and then I'm sure our meteorologist Patrick Pete, who's going to be joining us here in just about 7 or 8 minutes or so, he'll have a more in-depth not only outlook at what we just saw, but also what we expect to see in the coming days when it comes to our weather here. All right, we are going to move straight ahead here to some other news of the day. I want to get to a story that was absolutely devastating. And if you joined us for our evening newscast last night, you might remember this story of 2 young people pulled from a pool. Well, today we have a very sad update for you, as one of those children, teenager, has been pronounced dead after drowning in that pool. So this all happened in Johns Creek in Cobb County. A 16-year-old girl drowned Monday afternoon at a community pool. This is according to police. Now, a 9-year-old boy is recovering after the incident. Officers were called to the pool at Estates at Johns Creek Apartments off Addison Lane around 4:30 p.m. A witness told police that the 2 were playing when she noticed them underwater in the middle of that pool. 3 men rushed in to help pull those kids out. Now, the girl was airlifted to Scottish Rite Medical Center, and sadly, she died this morning. The name of the victim has not been released. We also don't know the name of the 9-year-old boy, who I believe we are told is her brother. We do have our Chelsea Bimefor, who is looking into this story for us this evening. She is getting all the latest details, including speaking with authorities, and she's going to have an update for us later this afternoon, or this evening rather, so hopefully you can join us on air for that. All right, another developing story we are tracking right now. A canine officer is dead tonight after a heat stroke in the back of a police vehicle. Incredibly sad story here. I want to show you this canine officer right now. All right, you're taking a look at the canine who died earlier today. The Cobb County Police Department says that this all is due to an air conditioning system malfunction Just after 2 p.m. on Monday, officers were holding an active shooter training at Alatoona High School when the canine Chase died. Now, the dog's handler, Officer Neal, tried life-saving measures on canine Chase before rushing him to an emergency vet. Police say Officer Neal was training at the school since about 11 o'clock in the morning and was regularly checking on the canine before that AC malfunctioned. So the failure must have happened sometime after the previous check. Police are currently investigating what went wrong. Overall, a very sad day for the department. Just to put a little perspective here for you, a Clayton County canine officer also died last week after suffering a medical emergency while parked inside a patrol vehicle at the Atlanta airport, although Clayton County Police did not give the exact cause of death here. But this is just the second incident in just a matter of really days where we've seen a canine officer unfortunately pass away. All right, let's move straight ahead here to a story impacting thousands of residents in Clarkston. All right, tonight there is an urgent call to raise the pay for police officers in Clarkston. Now, the reason why is that there's a fear that there's not enough police officers for people living in the city. Right now, the Clarkston City Council is meeting to discuss a pay increase. So the Clarkston Police Department has just about 15 officers for the city of 14,000 people. If you think that's a little bit, well, the number could dwindle down to just 9 officers in the coming months. The department is supposed to have 21 officers, but the police chief says they're losing officers to larger agencies who might be able to pay a little bit more. For example, DeKalb County Police, they start at $55,000. Clarkston Police start at $46,000 per year. That's a pretty big jump. $9,000 difference. Tonight, Councilmember Jamie Carroll is planning to propose raises and retention bonuses. Councilmember Carroll says they should match DeKalb's salary. We're following this story very closely. I believe we have our Joshua Skinner, who is taking a look at what those new developments are, and he's supposed to be bringing us all the latest updates. So hopefully you'll tune in with us later this evening on Peachtree and WANF. If not, no worries. Updates to this story, of course, on AtlantaNewsFirst.com along with the Atlanta News First app. All right, final story I want to get for you tonight. This is really the story that we have been following, and I feel like I say this every time I'm up here because there is always a new development when it comes to the Atlanta Public Safety Training Facility. We have a new update tonight. Activists who have been protesting the center say their fight is not over. All right, I want to show you now what the city council meeting looked like yesterday. This is just a small peek here at some of the people who are protesting the facility, which, by the way, is going to cost taxpayers millions and millions of dollars. Price tag about $67 million over a number of years here. But here's a look at the city council meeting in which people spoke out mostly against this training facility. All right, so you can see large group of people here. About 300 people spoke out at this meeting. A heavy majority of them protesting the facility, which they call Cop City. So the fallout that we're seeing right here comes after nearly 14 hours of public comment last night. This almost went until dawn this morning. The meeting wrapping up around 5:30. That's when the Atlanta City Council approved funding for the controversial site. Activists now say the fight is not over. They say their next effort to stop construction, a ballot referendum, would allow the public to vote on this funding, yes or no, as early as the November ballot. Right now, very early days for that referendum effort. There's still a lot to be done to get it even on a ballot, but all to say here, activists are not giving up hope after today's vote at City Hall. We heard many of these activists chanting. This is what they're chanting here. Cop City will never be built. Again, the council made a vote, 11-4, to fund the development of the training center. This vote greenlights the development of the project. if you have not been keeping up to date with the project, well, the clearing has already been done. Now construction will start in August, with the center set to have a soft opening in December of next year. Again, those activists, though, they say they will keep on fighting. Now, the mayor released a statement today. He is celebrating the vote here. He stressed that this is a major milestone for the city. It's also helped Atlanta become a, quote, national model for police reform with the most progressive training and curriculum in the country. And while a large amount, and seriously, we're talking about most of those people who showed up last night at the meeting to comment are against the facility, there are some people out there who are in support of it. They believe that it is, like Mayor Andre Dickens says, a good thing for our city to improve our police department. A lot of different opposing sides here, and this is just a story that we are going to continue to follow. Again, like I said at the very beginning here, I feel like I'm talking about it almost every time I'm up here with you guys, but that's because there are so many new developments almost day after day, week after week, and so it is an interesting story, I think. No matter how you feel about the training facility, it's really interesting to see how everything's unfolding and how people are making their voices heard. All right, and with that, though, I'm going to send you out with a look outside. Let's pull up the picture. We are taking a look at Midtown here, and we have our wonderful meteorologist, Patrick Pete, with us now. And Patrick, I told everybody earlier you were going to be giving a better update than I did about the weather. That's what I started with, and basically what I was saying is people are out of power.
Yes.
And we saw some storms rolling through pretty quickly.
Yeah, the rain came down pretty heavy, and we may have seen a couple of downbursts produce some pretty strong winds. So we're working to confirm some of the speeds of those winds, but estimates are roughly 40 to 50 with some higher gusts possible. Thankfully, these storms have started to quiet down out there, and we are seeing things look a whole lot better, which is great news. So good evening, everyone. Hopefully you're having a fantastic Tuesday. And the showers and storms are diminishing, so at least if it's not fantastic, it's going to get better. I want to take you out. Actually, you can't even tell, but there's a little bit of a rain delay because there are still some spotty showers around the area. Something that we're tracking as we head into the day tomorrow. More sunshine in the cards for your Wednesday, but there are going to be some afternoon pop-ups, but we're expecting less coverage. So what that means is that we're not expecting as many of those showers and storms to fire up through the afternoon as what we saw today. So I actually think Wednesday is going to be quite manageable. Temperatures, though, are going to be hot. We're climbing into the low 90s. Heading into Thursday, we are watching a cold front that is going to gradually slide through our area. Looks like it's going to move in earlier in the day, which means that we can see some earlier showers and then afternoon thunderstorms fire up as that line is sinking further south. Guidance is continuing to show the severe weather risk with that line south of our area. So we'll watch our southernmost communities, but right now looks like rain, thunderstorms, maybe some small hail, breezy winds. Look like that should stay on the weaker side through the day. But heading into Friday, that's where we really win because that cold front isn't going to change temperatures a whole lot. We're still going to get into the mid to upper 80s Friday afternoon, but what it's going to do is going to drop the dew points. So the dew points are going to go from the 60s to the 40s, and we don't talk about dew points often because it's more so a scientific thing. It's part of a calculation to calculate humidity, but you can kind of determine exactly how uncomfortable it's going to be by that dew point number. In the summertime, when the dew points are in the 40s, you are winning. The summertime, when the dew points are in the 50s, you are winning. When they get into the 60s, that's where it could get a little sticky, and then 70s, 80s not fun. 70s are not fun either, but I'm from Louisiana, so 70s are just something I'm used to. But the dew points are going to be in the 40s and extreme low 50s on Friday, which means that despite it being in the upper 80s, it's going to feel awesome outside. Side note, if you don't see me Friday, you know why. Meanwhile, I'll be here Friday. Meanwhile, heading into the day tomorrow, we are expecting a dry start. Those showers and storms are diminishing this evening, and as we head into the afternoon tomorrow, approaching lunchtime, things are still looking pretty good. It's not until after that where things start to fire up, but you can see that those storms are not as widespread. They're not everywhere. So this is going to be an isolated event. We are calling it a 20% chance of showers and storms through the afternoon, and they should diminish as we head into the evening hours. So it's that similar setup. Something else that we're going to throw into the forecast tomorrow is that we're going to say that those winds are elevating. So those winds are going to be gusting at times 20 to 25 miles per hour. They're going to be out of the northwest, and that's typically this time of year a warming wind, so that's going to help allow those temperatures to climb into the 90s for a large chunk of the region. So a warm day, low 70s as you're walking out to the car, grab the sunglasses, low 80s as you're stepping out for lunch, and then getting into the upper 80s, spending the bulk of the afternoon there, but we will climb into the 90s for a couple of hours. That daytime high hitting 91 by 5 o'clock. And it's going to be a warm evening. So if you have any late night plans, just be prepared for it to be a bit warm out there. A lot of locations are only going to dip into the upper 60s for morning lows. And here's that front starting to sink through the area. And we do have that morning chance of some showers and rumbles of thunder. That line of showers and storms will continue to sink further south and east. And as it does, you see a little bit more yellow. You see a little bit more red. So that's indicating these thunderstorms will be intensifying as they sink further south and east. So we're really going to be watching the areas along and south of I-20 for some of that stronger storm potential. But as we head later into the day, by 5 o'clock, I do expect the bulk of the region to stay dry. Those rain chances sink to below 20% for the rest of the day. It's going to be a pretty clear shot. Temperatures are going to be falling. You can see the winds now coming out of the northeast, and that's going to help cool the numbers down throughout the day. So we're only going to get into the lower 80s. Meanwhile, an eye to the tropics, of course, because it's the beginning of hurricane season. And you can see that there is that rotating area of low pressure that's trying to get its act together out near the Azores. This is near the coast of Africa. This is not looking very organized, despite that swirl that you see in the atmosphere. Only a 10% chance of development over the course of the next week. But we will keep our eye on this, much like the National Hurricane Center will do. Meanwhile, the trend is for warm numbers tomorrow. Cooler Thursday because of the clouds and the scattered showers and storms. And then we dry out Friday, and Friday is going to be fantastic. Upper 80s into your Saturday, looking dry and sunny. And I actually think that the bulk of the weekend is going to be on the drier side. We've been telling you about this rain chance, so this next front that should come in sometime Sunday into Monday. Looks like the guidance is trending that a little bit later. It started hinting at that last night. It's hinting at it today. So if we can continue to see that be mainly a Monday event, we may have to throw a first alert on Monday. Still a little too early to tell, but heads up, we are watching Sunday night into Monday already. If you have Sunday fun day plans, it looks like it's going to be a go, unless, of course, your Sunday fun day turns into Sunday night fun or whatever. But otherwise, things are looking pretty good. We'll track those showers and storms on Monday. That's going to cause temperatures to be a little bit cooler, and then we dry out by Tuesday, and we see temperatures climb back into the upper 80s, which is where we've been living the last couple of days. So lots going on with that. Obviously, our big focus is on the next couple of days because we have some rain opportunities. Meteorologist Fred Companion's in the back. He's going through some of that newest data. I'm going to go back there and roll with him and scroll through some of those outputs, and we're going to tweak our forecast like we typically do this evening. And we'll have that latest update for you tonight on Peachtree TV at 9 and 10. And Fred is going to have that last look tonight at Atlanta News First 11. So happy Tuesday. Grab you some tacos. Grab me a shrimp taco or a fish taco, wherever you plan on doing your dinner at. And catch us tonight. Have a good night.